All right, so let's go back to what we were trying to do. We're trying to use the skin cloth, which is bound to the body, to influence the simulated garment. And to do that, we have to look at the connection of the garments, how it's constructed in the node editor. So we select the garment, actually want to select the shape node. Make sure that we are selecting the shape node. So the shape node here, and we graph the inputs. So we can see the result is actually generated by the end cloth shape. The end cloth shape is this thing here. The end cloth object actually contains all the simulated data. So the output of the end cloth is giving us the output cloth. But what is the input of the end cloth object? It's the original simulated cloth in the unsimulated shape. So this is the input mesh to the end cloth objects. But what we want to do now is to use the skin cloth, the cloth that is bound to the skeleton, to drive its original simulated cloth. I don't know if it makes sense to you. So let me simplify this. So we have the output cloth. This is the output cloth. And we have the, this is the output cloth objects. And it's being driven by the end cloth shape. And the end cloth shape is taking the original undeformed cloth as the input, right? So this is the unsimulated as an input. Okay? What we want to do now is to hack the unsimulated cloth. We're going to plug in a new one, which is the cloth that is bound to, this is the skin. This is the skin cloth. So this is actually bound to the skeleton. It has a skeleton on it. So when this thing deforms, it's going to deform the unsimulated cloth, which is then used as a for the calculation of the simulation. It's a little bit advanced. I don't know whether you understand what I'm talking about right now, but I have it recorded so that you can study it afterwards. Okay, so what we need to do now is to bring in the shape of the skin cloth, which is this one here. I'm going to grab the shape node and bring it into our graph here. All right, so let's organize it. So this is the end cloth shape that does the simulation. This is the input cloth, which is the undeformed version of the cloth. All right, it's a little bit complicated. So what we want to do now is to, instead of using this end in mesh here, is we're going to disconnect it, and we're going to connect the one that is controlled by the skeleton as the input. So we're going to open up our connection editor. So the left side is going to be this node. I'm going to reload. The right side is this node. It's going to reload. We're going to look for the mesh, out mesh to the in mesh. Right, so we're going to connect the two. All right, now let's look at what we are seeing right now. So let's turn on the skin cloth, and let's move this input mesh attract to 1, and it will be the same as the cloth that is skinned to the skeleton, right? So what we're gonna do now is to, instead of having a constant values over the whole body, over all the vertices, we're gonna paint in the vertices so that this value input can attract could be different at different vertices. So what we want to do now is to right click, go to paint the vertex maps, and there is an input attract here. So we will have different input attract values on different vertex. So right now it's white, so every vertex is being attracted to the skinned version of the cloth. But we want certain part of it to be more flappy and more that has the cloth quality. So I'm going to paint in a lower value. So the one that is the part that is white right now is being controlled by the skin cloth. The part that is black is going to be controlled by the simulated cloth. So we're going to paint in black over here at the bottom part of the garment, because these are the parts that I want to have simulated quality. And maybe a little bit on the shoulder to see some wrinkles. All right, so let's wait for the calculation to reach here. And now we can see the part that is painted darker is now being influenced by the cloth. Right, so we can see the chest and the back is still controlled by the skin one, the skin version, but the bottom part of the garment is now being influenced by the simulation. So for example, this part here, it's kind of too much, so I'm going to paint in a little bit more of the skin influence. So I'm going to paint in instead of a complete 0, I'm going to have some values here. It's going to paint in this part here. Alright, so I'm going to wait until the calculation reaches the current frame and we'll see the results. Okay, we can see that we may want to have more influence from the skin cloth, so let's paint in more. Maybe on the bottom of this part as well. Alright, so let's wait for the simulation to finish. See the results. Okay, that's good. So we can just leave it as it is. So now with the top part of the cloth has a blend between a skin version and a simulated version. We can do the same thing for the pants. I'm just gonna stop it here. All right, so that's the basic idea behind this technique.